Here comes the money. You're now listening to the Gambling with Gold podcast with Jason Gold. Presented by Champions Round.
Welcome to the Gambling with Gold podcast. My name is Jason Gold, and as always, I am joined by my buddy from the Action Network, Dan Titus. Dan, we got a Super Bowl in our hands, not who we thought was going to make it. We have the Bengals facing off against the Rams in Super Bowl 56 next Sunday. You excited for that matchup?
Not as excited as I would be for other teams playing in it, but you know what? We talked about it. I think it was at the divisional round. We were talking about the possibility of the Bengals and the Rams actually making it here, and lo and behold, man, they actually made it, man. I think it was like what plus 550, I think, for that to actually happen. And man, I wish I bet it because we be feeling pretty great right now. But I'm really excited because Joe Burrow's look great, and the Bengals story is awesome. I think it's good for the NFL. Get a little bit more parity. We've seen the Chiefs a lot, so I think it's cool to get some new young bloods in there. And then Stafford as long as he's played in the OBJ story. And Von Miller potentially get another one. I think it's cool. So, and I got to give respect to Aaron Donald. Definitely deserves a ring at this point for how good his career has been. So, yeah, pretty excited for the matchup, all things considered.
I think it is a really good matchup. It's better for me than seeing Kansas City and San Francisco run it back. I am a little disappointed that we don't get the Chiefs, but it is some new young blood. It should be an interesting matchup. We'll get to all the gambling stories in a second. Meanwhile, since the last time that we talked, the entire NFL, completely different. Tom Brady, retired. The Washington football team is now the Washington Commanders, a.k.a. the Commies, a.k.a. a very weird name for you to choose. Just say you're in Washington, D.C., and we're going to be called the Commies. Maybe we didn't think about that one too much.
Dude, they had 2 years to come up with a better name than the comment. Like, what are you doing?
You can't get Commanders out of your head. Now Commies is stuck in my head.
You have Commies stuck in my head. Like, I just want to call them the Commies. Like Commanders, like what is this? An old naval ship? Like I don't get it. Like there's so many other, there's so many other pieces of history that they could have drawn from for this, and they should have just kept this football team. Honestly, that was a way better name for it. I think everyone was getting used to it. To be honest, now they just do this. Like it's whatever. At this point, I feel like most Washington fans are pretty much out on Washington, regardless of what their name is. As long as Dan Snyder's there, like ain't shit changing.
Yeah. A couple of thoughts on that really quickly. One, they stole their actual Commanders logo directly from the Challenge MTV.
I peeped that.
It looks exactly
only
the
true
same.
MTV old heads would know that they stole that from the Challenge. So respect to that call out.
Crazy. One, their red jersey actually looks good. Their white jersey looks like the Diamondbacks, and their black jersey with the dumb W on the front of the helmet. The fuck you think?
I didn't like it on the helmet. The jersey looked all right. The jersey colorway was cool, but I didn't like the overall. Man, it was just an L. Like whoever their design team is, they should probably be let go. Like it was just a disaster, horrible marketing ploy. And then the whole thing got squandered by like some stealth helicopter.
The helicopter, unbelievable. What Washington? At least, they did this whole rebrand so that they would get a stadium built in DC, which looks like it's going to happen now. The mayor came out and was like, now we'll give you funding. So, I don't know. Good for them. Good job, Dan Snyder. You're, you finally gave in after 15 years for about $500 million stealing away from poor people who are paying taxes. Great job, buddy.
Dude, that stadium was actually, I used to work there actually way back then. And, it was always a solid team it was always a solid environment in terms of like the atmosphere, like FedEx Field, but like getting there was just always a bitch, and the traffic, it was in an awful spot. So, at least they're moving more centrally located in DC there, but yeah, overall, I don't think people are going to miss trekking out to Landover, Maryland for a Commanders game. I keep also want to say Commies, man. It's still stuck in the head.
Love it. Let's see what else happened. Brian Flores is trying to take down the NFL for justifiable reasons. Jim Harbaugh was about to be in the NFL and then decided he wanted to go back to Michigan. Went with his tail in between his legs back to Michigan. I didn't get the Vikings job. I'm sorry. I'll stay here until you kick me out. Looks like they're going to hire the Rams OC. Brian Daboll's in New York. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff happening. I got let's talk about the Brady thing after I go through some Champions Round stuff. Lead off there, and then we'll talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. Speaking of Tom Brady, we're doing a Twitter Spaces retirement party on Friday for Tom Brady. We're going to give away a Tom Brady Buccaneers signed helmet. It's our biggest giveaway of the year. It also costs us the most amount of money to acquire, so hopefully everybody comes and wants to come get it. Go to our Instagram and Twitter for more information on that. But 11:30 a.m. Pacific on Twitter Spaces. Come with your best Brady stories. Why you hated him. Why you loved him. How much money did it cost you gambling? How much money did you win gambling on him? All that sort of stuff. We'll talk about it. So Twitter Spaces 11:30 a.m. Pacific on Friday. We are also giving away Justin Herbert signed helmet. That is for our 7 Stakes contest for the Senior Bowl. We have Dan Turner and Steph Smalls who are down there right now. They're giving away a bunch of items, but we have another one for the 7 Stakes to go answer those 7 questions. If you finish in first place, you'll get the Justin Herbert signed helmet. And then we're giving away a Deebo Samuel signed jersey for the Pro Bowl 7 Stakes. So only one. You got to finish in first place, but go ahead, check those out on the Champions Round app. And yeah, finish in first place, win some sick stuff per usual. And wait for next week because we have 3 Super Bowl 7 Stakes, 2 for the actual game, 1 for the halftime show. And we are giving away, we are emptying the vault. I keep saying that we're emptying the vault. We're actually emptying the goddamn vault. Everything that we got in the bag, except for a Patrick Mahomes helmet that we're going to save for the NFL draft. But otherwise, a lot of really sick stuff. So go check out everything in Champions Round. All right, let's talk about Tom Brady a little bit. Guy retired on Tuesday after Adam Schefter reported, I guess that was on Saturday, that he was going to retire.
Another PR nightmare.
The entire world said, no, he hasn't said anything. Okay, well, Schefter clearly knew something. He didn't take the L on that one. He got the dub. Tom Brady officially retired. Left the Patriots out of his entire retirement speech or whatever he put on Instagram. Very interesting. I thought he was going to go to New England and go, do a little retirement speech, maybe a little one-day deal, a little press conference. Nope. See ya.
Instagram.
I'm on the first plane to Costa Rica. I'm going to go party out there for a couple months with Giselle. I don't care about my kids being in school. We're going to go have a good time. Fuck Boston. Basically, I think that in his mind, he's like, he already said goodbye 2 years ago. Why does he have to do it again? But
yeah,
it is going to be really weird to have the NFL without Tom Brady in it. And he goes out, number 1 passer in the league, most touchdowns. I think they're going to rig this MVP now to somehow give it to Brady, which is going to cost me a lot of money, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. You got any good Brady stories or anything that you want to say before we move over to the Super Bowl?
Good Brady stories? Not really. As an Eagles fan, I think he's been probably one of the most annoying quarterbacks ever in history. But now that he left New England and he won in Tampa Bay, I think I found a newfound respect for him. He's the GOAT. I mean, I'm okay with admitting it now. He has almost every record you can imagine for the postseason. He has every quarterback record at this point. So just a great career for a guy that went, in the last round. I hate to see him go to some degree. He was around for literally all of what I remember for the golden era of football for me. But this is a new era, and I think we're ushering in a new regime of quarterbacks here, which I'm really excited about. So I can't say that I have better things to say probably about Brady than I do Roethlisberger. No one even cares the fact that he retired anymore, which is kind of funny that he just dunked on his retirement. But
yeah.
And even Drew Brees, Drew Brees was he was a very good quarterback, but he didn't have the impact nearly as Tom Brady. And I don't know, I think people are going to look back, and as much as they hated the Patriots, they're going to realize how great they really were, and just how much he impacted the game. But he also changed the game. The game got a lot softer under Brady, a lot of bullshit, a lot of bad calls over the years. But ultimately, you can't knock the guy. He's got 7 chips, so. Eagles beat them once, so we're good. We made peace.
I felt very weird about it, to be honest with you. The guy started playing quarterback in the NFL when I was 10. So
it's crazy.
Basically my entire life, he's been part of my life, part of things that have been going on. Yeah. So when I heard Saturday, I was driving back from somewhere, and I was like, damn, kind of sucks. I had my moments where I hated Brady. I had my moments where I loved Brady. that 28-3 Falcons comeback. I bet it back the entire way. So, I mean, that was
He
like
got you some coin.
one of my best gambling wins ever. Yeah, my mom fucking hates him. Like literally wants to kill him. So that's always a fun dynamic. Whenever his teams are in the Super Bowl, I get a great text from my mom. Fucking Brady again? God damn it. So that's I'll miss that. I'll miss getting that text. So whatever. I don't think he's gonna be out of our lives completely. I assume that he'll be around the NFL in some
he kind of feels
capacity.
like he's gonna have like one of those Kobe type second careers where he'll get into media. He'll have some other ventures going on. Like he ain't going nowhere. Hopefully he's a little less annoying than Peyton Manning has been in his retirement. And he's a little bit cooler than Peyton Manning too. So like he's got a different kind of swag about him. So I feel like Tom's going to be cool once we get to see more about his life and how he's kind of just been, because he's kind of an enigma, right? Like he's always been very private about most of his business and his handling. So I'm excited to kind of see the way Kobe opened up after he retired. I'm expecting to see the same out of Tom.
Yeah, it'll be great. And I think that he did the first step with Man in the Arena, which if you haven't watched is actually pretty detailed and really enjoyable watch. At least to me it was.
Yeah.
All right. Super Bowl 56. We got it. Joe Burrow has a chance to win the Heisman, win a national championship, and win a Super Bowl in about 28 months, something like that.
Unreal, man. Unreal journey.
I still am a little perplexed at how the Chiefs gave up that lead. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, up 21-3. Thought that was in the bag. Kind of quit on the game a little bit. And the Bengals just keep doing it. They just stick around, which I get. I think this is going to be a Burrow thing for the next 15 years. Guy seems like he's just a winner. Just puts himself in the right spots to always be in the game. It's a little Brady-esque. So it'll be interesting. I can't imagine that this game between the Rams and the Bengals is going to get too far out of hand. So this line opened at -3.5 to the Rams, now at 4.5. All sharp movement. People that think that this is the public might be on the Rams, but when you're not catching any action on the other side, once you move past 4 to 4.5, this is sharp. So the Rams have been on, or the Sharps have been on the Ram for a lot of the season. They were betting them preseason. They were betting them during the season when they were on that losing streak. They bet them when they got to the playoffs. They've been on them every single game in the playoffs. So no surprise that the Sharps are really loving the Rams, especially since they have quote unquote home field advantage in this game. The total opened at 50, now at 48. That's definitely a sharp action too. Action Network says that 56% of the bets, 76% of the money is on the Rams at 4.5, and the total has come down from 50 to 48.5. 51% of the bets, 86% of the money is on the under there. Looks like this under probably going to keep going down. Hasn't felt much resistance in the market yet. Could see this at 47.5, 47 by the time that we reach Super Bowl Sunday. Don't think this Rams line is really going to get past 5 here. I'm guessing it's probably going to settle around 4. People are going to bet into this 4.5 number for sure. What's your initial take on this matchup, and which side are you kind of leaning to early on?
Yeah, I think it sounds pretty square right now, but I think this is an advantage to the Rams, mainly their defensive line. That I think that their defensive line can get to Joe Burrow the way that we thought the Chiefs might. It's really weird how the Titans had so much success, in sacking him 9 times, and then you see the Chiefs like barely even touch him. I think it was a testament to Joe Burrow's mobility in the pocket. Like, man, this dude was just escaping so many what could have been sacks or losses for yards. And but I don't know. There's something about the energy that's riding with the Rams. I don't really put much stock into the home field advantage. Really, it's gonna be a bunch of corporate suits, to be honest, really making up much of that crowd anyway. And we saw how well the San Francisco 49ers traveled there. I mean, that was pretty much a home game for them. And if Jimmy Garoppolo had any competence, he probably could have engineered a drive there. But I think that this is going to be the best team that the Cincinnati Bengals have faced all playoffs, and they've been great, man. They're 3-0 against the spread. Interesting trend that I found was that in the previous 55 Super Bowls, the outright winner also was 46-6-3 against the spread. It's a cover rate of 88%. So whoever you think is going to win this game is probably going to cover the spread. That's a pretty high percentage of hit rate there. So right now I'm leaning with the Rams. don't love 4.5, but I have a feeling that I don't know, man. There just seems to be a lot of the way that the Rams seem to lock it up and play better against the San Francisco 49ers, which is a really good defense. We saw Cooper Kupp just go to work. Even with the injury to Tyler Higbee, we saw Blanton still find some yards there, and even Cam Akers not having a great day because of their the stout run defense by the Niners. He still averaged over 4 yards per carry on the ground. So this team is good, and I feel like this is going to be one of those. We're going to do it for Arnold for Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, OBJ. Like, I feel like they have a lot of just veterans on this team that really want to win. Whereas Joe Burrow, he's just riding a crazy wave right now. Joe Cool is just way too freaking cool, man. Dude shows up wearing the flyest attire. Yeah. Jamar Chase, like, these young boys are just happy to be here at this point, where I think you'll see this whole nother level come out of the veterans that really want this. So I'm leaning the Rams here. Super square, obviously riding with the public and the sharps, but I don't really see a path where who knows? Joe Burrow's freaking surprised us all freaking postseason, but I gotta go with the Rams here initially.
I'm leaning towards the Rams also. I mean, that 4.5 looks tasty for the Bengals, but yeah, you're right.
It does.
The team that wins the Super Bowl usually going to cover the spread. Alternatively, if you like the Bengals, I think that taking an alternate line down to like Bengals minus 2.5, like plus 275, something like that, that's better than playing this on the money line at plus 165. So if you like the Bengals, go ahead and do that. I think that I'm going to end up on the Rams. There's a lot of coverage. There's a lot of stuff I want to read, some numbers to crunch, some podcasts to listen to, some people to talk to before I make that pick. But look, I don't necessarily trust Sean McVay in this situation. We saw he gets tight as a play caller. It happened last week.
He almost blew it again with these freaking timeouts and the non-challenges and the challenge. Yeah, he was a hot mess. He looked a little shook there.
Not a great look for him. And I think that we are confident at this point that he's a great game planner. He's obviously a really good and talented head coach. He's great at calling plays. He's not elite at situational awareness within a game, which is those little things is what's going to cost you. It cost him against Belichick in the first Super Bowl that they played. Those little details are going to screw him. Fortunately for them, they're going up against a McVay disciple in Zach Taylor, who himself has his own issues with game management, and he's the most predictable play caller in the NFL.
First down, running.
So it's a good thing with a young team. You know what to expect. I think that the players know exactly what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to line up in given situations. It has helped them. I do not think in the Super Bowl it is going to help them. I think that McVay, especially on the other side, is going to be able to know what his guy is going to do. He's probably going to be able to game plan what he's going to do pretty well. And I think that Raheem Morris and the defensive coordinator or the defensive coaches are going to have a really, really good plan against Joe Burrow and company. That defensive line, we know that they're going to get pressure. We know that Von Miller and Aaron Donald are going to be able to get home. They're going to be in Joe Burrow's face. And I think the difference between perhaps them and the Titans is when you have Donald up the middle, that is going to make such a difference in terms of eliminating Joe Burrow's running ability.
Yeah.
Because if you look at last week, all of his scrambles right through the middle and then outside. If you force him to go outside the pocket and throw on the run or to scramble from there, you are limiting a lot of those plays. So I see a huge advantage for their defense. It's kind of why I lean the under that 48.5. Obviously, the Super Bowl, you hoping for a lot of points, but I sure like that under. And Cincinnati's defense, they've played really well in some halves. They obviously got lucky that they got to play the Raiders and the Titans, two not very dynamic offenses. They got torched in the first half, and then, you can say the adjustment was great that they put a full QB spy on Mahomes and they dropped 8, but Mahomes has been facing that all year. He was just terrible. So I'm not going to say that the Bengals defense is awesome. I think the Rams are definitely going to be able to throw on them a bunch. It's just a matter of, can they get in the end zone? Is McVay going to do what he did last week, which is what we said, which was throw the fucking ball. He threw the ball. Matt Stafford had 340 passing yards or whatever last week, and they only put up 20 points. Guess what they're going to do this week if they're smart, at the Super Bowl. Matt Stafford should have so many passing yards in this game. I love the OBJ over 62.5 right now. Love that one. and Matt Stafford over 278 passing yards. I think those are my two favorite props right now on the board as we talk on Wednesday, 10 days before the Super Bowl. Obviously, next week, we're going to have a full podcast on all of our favorite props. So we'll talk about a lot more. But those were the two that have stood out. Odell's lines have been hilariously low. Now they're going over. Their market's finally starting to adjust a little bit, but I don't think fast enough. And Stafford, I just think, if McVay's right and they read this defense correctly, they should be throwing the ball 50 times in this game and should easily hit 300 yards. So that's kind of
there's only like an 8-yard adjustment from last week for Odell Beckham. So that's a pretty small margin considering he had over 100 yards last week. And I was just looking plus 800, not bad for him to have the most receiving yards in the Super Bowl. So if you're an OBJ stan, man, this could be a nice time to cash in a little bit here.
Yeah, my problem with that one a little bit. I think it's decent odds, plus 800. You're getting good value there, but you're going up against Cooper Kupp and Jamar. Yeah. I also bet the Jamar over 80.5 receiving yards. I kind of did that because I thought that the public would bet this way up, and I would find a middle somewhere between like 80 and 90. And maybe able to hit that. But those two guys are just so freaking special. It's gonna be hard to put up. Yeah, Odell's probably gonna have to go for $120 in this game in order to win that bet, which isn't impossible, but definitely something to think about. Any props or anything stand out to you based on your early analysis of the game?
Yeah, man. I was actually looking at OBJ props as well. I think that's a great call. I'll probably try to fade some backups. So I see Sony Michel. His rushing prop right now is an early line of 20.5. I think Cam Akers will probably get a bulk of the carries there. So we did see a lot of Sony Michel, but I think that was because you're going up against a really good San Francisco defense at that point. So
and Akers got banged up. Akers got banged up a little bit in that game.
Right. So I'll be looking at some backup unders. Maybe we'll get a Skowronek prop that comes out there for like 8 or 9 yards or something like that. He only got like one target and he dropped it. You should have caught that ball, right? Like that was a damn good ball by Stafford.
You know who else should have caught the ball? The San Francisco defensive back. Tart. That was terrible.
Yeah, Tart could have ended that game or at least made it a lot more interesting. That was a brutal one for sure.
What do we think about the tight end situation for both teams? So both Tyler Higbee and CJ Uzomah left their games. Look like they're both questionable for the Super Bowl. I don't know how in the hell Uzomah is going to play.
The dude had his clothes on, by the third quarter. So yeah, he's not playing, man. Like if he does, he's going to be highly limited. I'm expecting to see a lot more Drew Sample out there.
So maybe those are some that you want to target early. If you think that Uzomah is not really going to play, if they list that, I assume they're not going to list it, but when they do, maybe hit an under on there. Backup for the Rams tight end that I always forget his name, but Blanton. 2 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks in a row. He caught a touchdown, caught the first touchdown of the game against the Buccaneers, and then this week he was a stud. I think that
heavily utilized, man. They used him in the screen game, like he was getting a lot of yak yards there. So I think he could be like a nice little sleeper play if they put his tight end line at 24, 23, something like that. I could see it being pretty modest, just being that he doesn't have a huge sample size. So. Yeah, I think that targeting those guys that haven't had a lot of opportunities could actually be pretty sneaky there.
So it looks like Higbee's more likely to play than Uzomah is. But if we think back to previous years, McVay has utilized two tight ends when he had Gerald Everett and Higbee. This is not an uncommon situation for him. So given the way that Blanton played the last 2 weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if they split time more than you would think. The one thing for going for Higbee is they've used him a lot as a blocker, given their personnel system, because Robert Woods isn't in. They need kind of this other receiver blocking role. Higbee's kind of filled that. I don't know if Blanton's going to be able to. I'm going to have to do – that's like one of the things that I want to look into more is how they're utilizing Blanton in terms of the running game. Because if he's exclusively used as a passer, I'm more tempted to use the over. If they're actually going to split time, he might be used more as a run blocker.
Right.
Maybe I'm a little bit more hesitant in that situation.
Yeah, it's a great point because it seemed like they were heavily utilizing him in the pass game versus the run. So, if he's going to be flanking out a little bit more, running more routes, that could be an angle to certainly target him, being that Higbee may not be anywhere close to 100% here.
All right. Why don't we close with this? We'll probably do a show Friday. We're definitely going to do a show next Tuesday or Wednesday with all of our props. Next, either Thursday or Friday, we're going to do a show for our official picks, best bets for Super Bowl 56. That'll be a great one. Can't wait for that. But right now, what is your favorite Super Bowl completely degenerate bet? It doesn't make any sense at all. Just you want to throw some stupid money on something. I got to know what it is.
I did last year. I did how long the national anthem would be.
Yeah.
I think I took the under of 3 minutes or something like that. I would also probably do one. There's probably going to be a halftime one that's going to show up.
First song?
How
First
many
always
songs are first songs? Yeah, those are always the good ones. And especially with the lineup that we have this year, that's going to be really interesting for who's the actual headliner? Like, is it Dr. Dre that's the headliner?
Yeah, Dre.
So someone's going to have to do an opening. So, like, who's going to go out first? Is it Mary? Is it Eminem? Is it Kendrick? You know what I'm saying? So Snoop Dogg. Plenty of options there. So, yeah, I'll probably definitely be throwing some money on that because there's a lot of songs there that they could choose from. But, they got to pull from the ones that are the more popular ones and obviously the ones that resonate for the LA fans and whatnot. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be a cool prop bet to have.
I'm going to have so much on halftime. I'm going to love it. The thing about the halftime bets is sometimes you get a little sneaky tidbit out there on Twitter and you can actually know some like good stuff going in.
It's true.
That's true. I like that coming
right.
Up. My degenerate bet this year, I can already tell. I'm obviously going to do the coin toss because I always do the coin toss because I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
and then got to. The other one I'm going to do for sure is final score even or odd. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to pick it 5 minutes before the game. I will have a couple, maybe some Jack Daniels, maybe some Red Bull vodkas in me. I don't know what's going to hit me in the morning, but I'm going to be a one eye open and my phone is like, even. Okay. Here's $200 on that because I have nothing better to do on the Super Bowl. Can't wait for that. We'll do like a DGen best bets.
100% need to do we definitely got to do some exotics in here for sure.
I can't wait. All right. So that's it for episode 53 of Gambling with Gold. We'll be back likely Friday, if not next Tuesday or Wednesday with our prop special. Remember, Tom Brady retirement party, Twitter Spaces, 11:30 a.m. Pacific on Friday. We are also giving away Justin Herbert, Deebo Samuel for our 7 stakes contest this week. That's all I got. I'm out. I'm going to go play some degenerate bets. Dan, as always, it's been a pleasure. Talk to you soon.